So growing up, I was in speech therapy from like pre-K onward. I couldn't pronounce my R's, my S's, my T's, my L's. Like I had a bad lisp type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in it until like second grade, third grade. And I never could get promoted out of it, even though a lot of that I felt like had gone away. Like I'd go into speech and I remember like she'd say, and I go, and kept having to go back to speech. Well, one day I got off the bus and walked into the school and showed up to speech class, and we didn't have Miss Murphy anymore. Miss Murphy had been busted for drugs.
What kind of drugs?
Shit.
Like meth?
I had Miss, it probably was just weed or something. I don't know, but she was no longer with us. And I had Miss Candy Johnson, and I had my first session with Candy Johnson, and she's like, "You sound great." And she promoted me on my first day. And I'm like, this woman who's been holding me back all these years has just been high. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Mhm.
Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel?
Oh, I like Jimmy Fallon better.
Kimmel.
I don't really like Kimmel.
Maybe.
He's gotten away with some wild stuff in his career. You ever think about that?
Like
I have
what?
thought about that.
To be where he is now, I'm not going to say it out loud, but to be where he is now, and he was on the Man
He gets
Show.
a pass. He gets a pass for the Man Show for some reason.
The Man
Oh,
Show,
didn't he
yeah.
his child died too or something, right? Didn't he have some
No, he didn't die.
or some illness or something? What am I thinking of?
I think he had
Oh,
heart
I actually
surgery.
don't know about that. Oh.
And then he went on and became all of our moral arbiter for our entire society about healthcare.
Well, that's I think. Yeah, I mean, not to get into that on this podcast, but that's I think the wild thing about him is like he's just like he seems like he should have been canceled. Like how he survived that, I'm like, what did he do? This must be a smart negotiator.
I think Jimmy Fallon would just get annoying much faster
No,
than
see,
Jimmy
no, I
Kimmel
don't
would.
think so. I think if we're hanging out, Jimmy Fallon is going to the best restaurants. He's living it up. He's partying. We're dancing. We're drinking. I feel like Jimmy Fallon is actually fun.
Mm.
Still,
See,
I think he is always that fun. And it's goofy. Maybe you don't want to be his best friend. But
I feel like he has another personality. Like I think
Yeah.
there's a high chance that he is like not at all the same way that you see him. And I think Jimmy Kimmel is probably about the same. He seems like he's, probably not the most awesome guy to be around, but he's kind of funny. But he seems like more like a real person would act.
Since we're talking about late night talk show host, what about like Conan O'Brien or Seth Meyers?
I'm a big
I think
Conan
Conan's-
fan.
I think Conan's the best one
Yeah.
right now.
He's the best. Seth Meyers, he's been funny maybe 2 times in his entire life.
Yeah.
I find him I never have laughed at him. And you're going to talk about a fake laugh. He like strains his face when he's laughing because it's so fake. Yeah, not a Seth Meyers guy. But
Seth
Conan
Meyers
is
very
the OG.
forgettable. Yeah, Conan's great.
Very, very much.
Mhm. He's also so tall. I mean, there's something like interesting about that, A tall ginger.
He's a tall ginger.
Mhm.
Tall
How many hair
ginger.
transplants do you think he's had, Ariel?
Oh, he's got that.
Like how
That's
many
his entire
pieces-
brand.
Like how many
That's-
pieces
no,
of
just-
hair he's had transplanted, or like how many times?
No,
has
just
he
how many
done it?
times do you think he's had a hair transplant?
Do you have to
Once.
redo them?
Yeah, I think
Why
so.
would
Every
you
like
have
10
them done
years.
more than? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know where he started from, so I'm just gonna say 2. What's your guess?
2. That's a good. I feel like 2 is a good guess.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I got a question, or not a question, but last podcast we recorded, Bobby was on vacation, and then tomorrow we get on a plane and we're coming to see you, Ariel.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming
You
to the
are.
Dirty Lou.
The Dirty Lou.
We're gonna fly the plane right through the arch.
That's what
Blue
they
Angel.
do.
I call it that. Is that
Did
a bad
you-
thing to call it?
No, but the plane does fly through the arch. Like
The
and
plane?
then you kind of
Through the
plane's gonna
arch?
Go through the arch.
It's like every plane coming into the airspace goes through the arch. It's like the signature of St. Louis.
Yeah, and then you kind of go up over the downtown area and then land at Lambert. That's how it
Okay,
works.
that sounds fake. So I did see a video the other day where it showed how you get to the top of the arch, And
We're
I
not
was
going
like,
to the arch, Bobby. I'm telling you
I saw
right
that
now.
elevator that you get into.
I'll wave as you
Hell
go.
no. That thing was tiny, and they packed like 6 people into this little
Yeah.
like Oompa Loompa elevator.
And it's
Yeah.
like
It was
the
like,
same
what-
technology from the 60s or something.
The
Yes,
top of
it
it
is.
seemed kind of cool. Like the top of it didn't seem. It was like more spacious than I would have imagined in there.
How do you feel
Like,
about
get out of the
heights?
elevator.
Are
If I'm
you-
inside of something, I feel fine with heights. I don't have
okay,
a problem being
what if you're
inside of
inside
something.
something that's kind of like swaying back and forth a little bit?
Have I had a drink or no?
You're sober.
A little concerned.
Okay, that's the top of the arch. Small space. It's a train car that's swaying
Moving.
back and forth, however many feet high.
Okay, I want to say this. You know, I haven't thought about it in a while, but the St. Louis Arch, as far as a city monument,
pretty
it's
good.
kind of badass.
Yeah.
Like
it's
when you
pretty
think
up there.
about it, what does Chicago have? The Bean. I mean, New York's got the Statue of Liberty. You know, I don't know.
Well, Empire State Building. New York's a little bit of a different
Okay,
But
animal.
that's
we'll leave
not.
that one
But
out,
that's
but-
like a.
but
But
like-
hold on. The Empire State
are
Building, though,
buildings.
like they're buildings that people work in. Like this is just
Okay.
like a.
That's true.
It's
Monument.
just
That's true.
there. Yeah.
And then like you go to DC and they have maybe the Washington Monument, but
It's-
that's just like
There's
go
some
straight
neat
up.
stuff in DC.
But like an arch,
There-
and
yeah,
it's so
DC
nice and like
it-
good lines.
Mhm.
What's
Is it
interesting
good?
though
It really is.
is that that's the only thing that is memorable about that city. Because like if
saying
no, I'm
this
serious.
as the person who's never been,
never
but
been.
go on.
No. But if you're just a regular person, you're like, what does St. Louis look like? You could picture the arch, and then I don't think anybody could be like, oh, I know exactly what the skyline looks like.
Okay,
I don't
what about
think anybody-
Houston? What's
Yeah, I
your
was
like?
gonna say Houston like doesn't even have the arch
I think that Houston's a more memorable city. But the
because
Astrodome.
you live there.
They tore down the Astrodome.
No, it's still up.
Okay.
It's still sitting there. It's still like rat
Anyway,
infested.
I'll go back to say maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll have to come back to this later with a bigger
Houston's
list.
a
but
far better city than St. Louis is, and I haven't even been to St. Louis.
It's just because you live there. That's what you think. But like, there's nothing.
I don't even like
memorable.
Houston. I don't like living here. I want to move somewhere else without the humidity. But you can't tell me that St. Louis and Houston are the same type of city.
I don't think they're
can't
the
tell me.
same type of
No,
city.
nobody- they
but
don't
I
have to be
think
the
St.
same
Louis
type of
is
city.
better.
But
No, that's what I'm saying. When I say type, I mean by like quality.
Monuments alone, St. Louis wins.
monuments alone, I think St. Louis might win. Maybe again,
That's the only
just
thing
top,
about it, though.
top of my head. The only thing I can think better in the whole world is maybe like Paris, Eiffel Tower, and Rio de Janeiro. The
You don't think
Jesus
Statue
statue.
of Liberty is more?
We're pulling New York out of it because I mean,
What?
Space Needle's kind of
What?
cool.
okay, they can have it. Space Needle, but
Mhm.
There's
that's,
a
again,
restaurant up there.
that's not cooler than an arch that goes like that.
And
No.
the Astrodome, if we're going to be clear, the Astrodome was a wonder of the world for quite some time. I don't think that has the arch ever had that distinction.
Probably, actually.
Well, let's find out.
See
We've got the
how I
internet
mean
at our fingertips.
you have to go readers, listeners and
Reader.
viewers. And if you're reading the transcript for this, I implore you to
Which we know many of you are.
go if you're in St. Louis, go to the free museum underneath the arch and see how the arch was made. And it is a architectural feat, an engineering feat. It is very impressive. It is beautiful. It is very worthy of your respect, no matter what other people say.
It is worthy of your respect.
So the
did you like?
Astrodome was the eighth. It was dubbed the eighth wonder of the world.
By who?
Gateway
Like Joe
Arch.
Rogan?
Okay,
I don't think
no,
he's talking.
Don't
What
bring
is
him
that?
into this.
This is like no. This is like a well-known. Like it is. People have called it the eighth. Wonder
Is
of the
that
world.
somewhere you went growing up? Like, what was your relationship with the
Yeah,
Astrodome?
I went to the Astrodome. Yeah, most people my age probably went to the Astrodome, and it was right across from Astro World, which actually got,
Yes, that is no longer
that
with
was
us.
Unfortunate,
Yeah.
it's no longer with us.
Mm.
But no, it was really cool. I mean, it was an icon. And then they built the new stadium right next to it, and it was like, oh wait, that's a lot better and bigger and nicer.
I do have a questionable decision that's more questionable maybe than coming to St. Louis or going in the
Okay.
arch. If we want to
Well,
go
it's
there.
supposed to be-
You ready?
That must be a strong one.
All right. So we had a course launch last week, and I mean, we spent just like so much time working on it, right? And like the night before, we were up late, and it's just like it's a big production to put a course out. Correct? Anybody want to say anything more about the process of launching a course? Just like sum up the work, the energy, the thought that goes into it.
Yeah. You have more descriptors you'd like to cover there, Ariel?
just that.
I mean, launching a course is a lot of pre-planning. It's the actual production of it and recording and editing and getting all of the bonus materials and writing the sales page and getting your community strategy. There's a lot that goes into it. We put a lot of work into it. It's worth a lot of money, and whatever price you see it at next is a steal, and you should buy it.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
I like
One of the
Little mini plug at the
seed
end.
future buyers.
Right.
No, it's a big effort. It's a big undertaking. I think it's more than most people would like. If they don't see the behind the scenes, they're like, "Oh, you just put together a course," but I don't think that they realize all the different. There's so much that goes into
and
it.
the technical stuff and the integrations and tracking and
yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I asked you that question because of what I found on CNBC, Make It or Made It, and it really like angered me because I found it as we were working on this course. And my questionable decision that I present to you is, if you see an article that says self-made millionaire, here's how I'd use AI to make thousands of dollars a month in passive income with less than $100, is it a questionable decision to believe that this is possible? And maybe we can just, it might feel good to just kind of like tear this apart a little bit. So
I've got some thoughts on this because I've been on Make It before, and I know kind of like the behind the scenes part of it.
okay.
There is vetting that happens. I will say that, like like when the first one that I was on, it was like I think it was my student loan story.
Mm-hmm.
Like they wanted, I spoke to a reporter, maybe twice. I think I might have had 2 conversations with her, and then I did have to like submit proof for the claims of what was being said in the article. I had to like show my student loan, the records of that being paid off. I did have to provide a decent amount of proof. So
Okay, that's good to know.
but I do at the same time though, I look at some of these things and I think that some people could pretty easily stretch the truth if they wanted. And I think it's always different. Like I probably every reporter, if I had to guess, is kind of different. Like some probably I've talked to plenty of reporters, and I guess, over the course of my career now, it's like some of them do ask for a lot of that stuff, and some of them that are kind of like younger don't seem to ask for that kind of stuff. So I've just kind of noticed that there is a difference. So I take some of that stuff with a grain of salt. The other thing too is that you have no creative control over the headline that is popped up there. So like I wasn't able to like suggest like I think we should use this kind of. It was like I did the interview and then I would just hope for the best.
Right. Well, and we've done
So
Forbes interviews with
Mhm.
people, and it's the same kind of thing. Like they don't have much control. We've always sent them like as a final once over before it's published, but we come up with the headline. Forbes is stringent in terms of like verifying that this is all real information. The reason, like I said, I brought this today because reading the article, and it sounds like this person who wrote it, Matt Higgins, he's a contributor. He did very well for himself, building a business and a life that he feels very proud of, and he's very successful. But this, like the way that he tells you to create a course here, after we spent like months of planning, just feels like he really minimizes the effort that it takes.
Well, let's just start with step 2. I don't forget one. Become an expert in 24 hours.
Right. So before we go to step 2, step 1 is identify fast moving trends. Step 2, become an expert in 24 hours. 3, build a logo and a website. 4, use AI as your marketing and sales team. Like that's it.
Okay, this stuff is
passive
garbage.
income, and you are going to be rich and never have to work a day again. Like seriously.
Does he talk about like an audience at all? Because that's like, does he say like you have to have like an email list with?
Also, use Midjourney to create a logo. You can't create a logo with Midjourney. This is stuff written with ChatGPT.
It might have been. ChatGPT is like wrote this to promote itself. All you need to do is study up with the best prompts.
Is that the end? Is it the end?
That's the end.
That's a short.
Oh my gosh. And like what? Somebody going to go try and do this?
Yeah. So that's like, isn't this like, that's questionable.
Identify a fast moving trend and become an expert. I don't like that because like, if you're going to sell something to somebody, you need to know what you're talking about. You don't need to just like do research on the thing and then sell something because you did research on it at a surface level. Like that is unethical. I was gonna say, I think that's definitely unethical. Like, you imagine that if like we did a bookkeeping course and like I outsource all the bookkeeping for my companies, and like I decided to do the bookkeeping course because I had like talked to a bunch of bookkeepers before. It's like, and used AI to like help me fill in the gaps in knowledge. Like,
It's
oh gosh,
awful.
yeah. This is like a supremely useless article, because it's not even like just like seize upon something and fly by night, get rich quick with an actual plan to get rich quick. Like, this won't even work.
No.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because I thought this article was going to be more along the lines of like using AI to get the course produced, which is more reasonable than using AI to gain the knowledge, or to substitute for the knowledge that you need to create a course.
Can you go right down to that last sentence? And that's it. AI can be a great tool for making money, and it sure as heck beats selling flowers on street corners.
I don't know. I would feel better selling flowers on street corners. I would feel like
Let's look at this guy's Twitter. Go to Matt Higgins' Twitter.
Okay. He has a book that was published on February 14th, 2023.
Yeah.
So he's promoting his book.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how that works, but I think, I'm sure that it's just like there's a arm inside of the publisher that is media only, and they've got all these contacts, and they can get their writers into their authors into different publications.
Yeah, I'm looking at their Twitter, and it's like there's the Atomic Habits guy wrote an article, lots of political stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It used to. I really did like the profiles and kind of hearing real stories. Definitely seems like they've got a lot of Barbara Corcoran. Here's Mark Cuban, Warren Buffett. So yeah, definitely seems like they've kind of moved to a more predictable publishing, content strategy.
I think they got Barbara to comment on one of a quote from her for one of the articles. Like there was one about me just driving an old car, and like they got her to talk about driving old cars or something.
Barbara Corcoran?
So they like beef it up with that. Yeah, I think so.
She's on a lot of stuff.
There's somebody like that.
So let's pull it back to courses, though, because that is, as I said at the beginning, that's what like originally kind of piqued my interest in this article. And I think that, we're all in agreement that if you were to read that article and believe that you could create a course and create a like decent stream of passive income, and with as little effort as Matt Higgins suggests in his article, or his ChatGPT friend suggests.
Become an expert, make a course.
What would be like, can we sort of like give some more actionable steps for anybody who would be interested in that as like a legitimate stream of money? So obviously expert knowledge in something, or know a lot.
I don't think it makes sense if you don't even have a brand. Like, to me, it's like if you're going to start from, I don't know, because I've talked to people that have wanted to do this from nothing, because we used to sell a program in my other company where it was teaching people how to do courses. But like one of the kind of requirements that we had was that you had some type of audience to sell to, because if you don't, then it's like, okay, well, this is going to take you a long time. Like there's always like this caveat of like, if you have no audience, this is going to take you like 2 years to build an audience first. Then once you have people that trust you, then, you can create a product around something you truly are an expert around and then sell it. But if you don't have anything, like this is a crazy hard way to make money from scratch.
But I do think being an expert certainly is a good thing. But even if it's just a skill you have and you're a good teacher, or you have a unique approach, I agree with what Bobby's saying about audience for like setting up a course business. But there's ways to begin to do that. Like you can use buy me a coffee, and there's marketplaces for those types of things where you can do one-on-one consultations with people, or you can sell mini courses through or ebooks through like Gumroad. And so there's a lot of marketplaces that you see around where people are making a little bit of money, $20 here, $50 here, selling some of their knowledge. But I think especially on courses, if you were to be able to stand up a course with AI on something you don't know about, you are going to get called on your BS so quick. You're going to get chargebacks. I mean, when people buy these things, they're not giving you the benefit of the doubt, or just, letting your lack of knowledge skate. They're paying you, to teach them something. And if you can't, they're not going to put up with that. They're going to get their money back. So I think that it's an admirable thing. If you want to teach people, or if you feel like you have a unique approach on something, there are ways to do that. Obviously, building an audience is very important because you want to do it at scale and you want to make it into a business. But even if you don't have that audience yet, there are ways to do that. But what you can't do is lie and fake it until you make it, because the proof is in the pudding with something like a course. You either are effective at teaching someone how to do something or you're not.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I think each of us have such unique perspectives on it too, because I just did this for the first time several months ago. Michael, you have you're on the operations end, you understand how putting it all together. Bobby, you've done all the things, but the audience building and everything. And so it struck a nerve for me, for each of us. And, it does make me think too, if you're using something like ChatGPT, and if you are trying to make it this super easy way, not only will it not succeed, but it's not going to be passive either, because you are constantly going to be fielding issues with how the course was designed, or, somebody's that's not actually, the idea of becoming an expert in just a day or two, there's going to be some things that you're going to have to go back in and correct. And it's all going to take time. And it's, the $10 that you make at some point, because that's all you're going to be able to sell your course for with no audience, it's not going to be worth the time that you put in to correct those things. And
and I mean, we take a lot of pride in how we build our products, and that they are quality, that they really do get someone from their first introduction to a topic to being able to get clients and go out into the world and use the skill. And we love to support our people, and we don't take a lot of shortcuts. We work really hard on all our products. And I think that just the attitude of spinning something up with AI, I don't believe in karma exactly, but the marketplace, if not the universe, the marketplace is not going to reward you for that. I mean, that's just, it's slimy and it's sleazy, and it's just not going to work.
It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Well, and I got an argument with a lady in our Facebook group about this, because stuff like this hurts people that sell legitimate things, which is the most annoying part, because she was like, oh, I've seen bookkeeping courses pop up during the pandemic, and they're mostly just bogus or whatever, and they need to be taught by a real CPA and all that stuff. She hadn't looked into our program. We paid a CPA to partner with us to create the program and basically become part of our team. We invested tens of thousands of dollars into just the production of the course. So, but it's hard, because it's there's so many of these scammy people out there that do this stuff, and then they're it makes potential buyers skeptical, which I understand, but it's annoying, because it's it makes it harder for people that actually are doing it the right way.
Yeah, it is funny when you hear the sales objections and you talk to people as you're trying to sell the course, they let you know pretty well what sleazy tactics the market has used, because they're kind of looking at you with skeptical eyes. Are you doing that to me as well? And I mean, it's fine, it's fine to vet something you're going to buy, but I do think it is wild how many people are out there not only selling subpar products, probably just through flashy marketing and branding and, smoke and mirrors, but they charge so much more than we do, or so much more than, good quality products do. And I think that they're just burning I think what typically happens is they burn a lot of people along the way, but they don't care if they're just bulldozing through, which is really sad. And that's not to say there aren't other good coaches and good courses. Of course there are. But when you hear all the people who are skeptical of our course, it's because they've been, similarly burned, or they've seen the bad practices. So that does make me mad. That makes me mad. That makes me mad, because you're not helping people. And anytime you're just trying to, make a buck off someone without handing them that much value back, I don't have any respect for you.
So then thinking about it on the consumer side, and how there are the objections to, especially when you have slimy people like this article that's basically, delegitimizing all the work that real experts and course creators do to produce a product that is valuable. What would somebody look out for? What could we say? What would be an easy way to sort of vet a course if you were interested in one? The first thing that I could think of is looking into the person who's teaching the course, this guy says become an expert in 24 hours. So like, how long has the instructor been doing what they're teaching? Like, what is their history with it? I feel like would be good. Can you guys, give me anything else here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's a big part of it. Like, I legitimately think that a lot of people probably purchase our courses just because there is a history of like social proof with other courses. And I've been around for a while. Like, we've all been doing this for a while. And it's easy to like, you can, for this company, at least, like you can Google my name and go like, okay, like this is a person that isn't just a made up person. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I do think like the person behind the course or the company behind the course, like, yeah, do some research.
But if I could say one
I
thing about
think,
that, the sad part is it almost turns into credentialism. There's you want to really know someone has the right to be teaching you what they're teaching,
Mm-hmm.
but because there's plenty of people who can teach you a skill without having the credential behind their name, but
That's very
because
true.
you're looking for that expertise, it can oftentimes, you know, you have to see a degree or a big firm, a big company that they worked at, and that's again a little unfair because there are plenty of people who are just really passionate and good at what they're teaching who don't have the credentials. So that's an
yeah,
unfortunate side effect of it.
it is. Yeah. But I think that's like just one trust factor in a lot of different things. But even like with the way that we do stuff, like I didn't teach the bookkeeping course and Ariel
Mm-hmm.
taught the proofreading course. Like, I don't have a degree in English or a degree in bookkeeping, but I think it's just a matter of like, you know,
Which you don't need either to do either of those
yeah,
things.
you don't. Yeah, well, you don't. But it's like you have to be able to, like if somebody wanted to, like for Ariel, for example, if somebody wanted to look up Ariel, like they could find
Mm-hmm.
her and see that she's worked for multiple publications and she's been around this brand for a long time. We talk about Ariel. So I do think that that's another piece of like why the audience think is important for building trust. But I think it's just more of like, yeah, showing the track record of like that you've actually done something to a level to where you can teach other people how to do it. And you have to be able to kind of prove that. And then I think that the other thing is just like the course has to be good. Like people have to get
Mm-hmm.
results from it. And if it's not good, then it's harder to sell because you don't have social proof to show people like this is something that's worked. And I think we like the bookkeeping launch went well because for a lot of reasons, but like we've had a proven track record of having people come through our programs and have success. And I think that does matter quite a bit, so even though
Mm-hmm.
that particular product was new, we were able to sell because people were like, okay, well, they've done other stuff that works really well. So this is probably good too.
Well, and we support the heck out of our students, and we heard that so many times when people were coming in on this last launch, like, "Oh, I didn't expect you to like help me this much. I thought this was just like a book I was buying off the shelf." Like, no, and I think that goes a long way as well when we show the results that we're going to get for people and that we have gotten for people, but also just we're here for you. Like if you're stuck, you don't know what to do, you got a question, you don't understand something. So I think that kind of understanding how they're going to support you um,
Mm-hmm.
is a big thing because again, if you pay several hundred or thousands of dollars for something that's essentially like just getting a binder of materials that you don't have support around or that you don't have support that you think is going to help you if you get stuck, that could be kind of put you in a pinch.
I also think the reaching out before you buy the course and just like asking some questions and seeing how responsive they are to you, how well they answer your questions. Are they just trying to like brush off some things that you find are important? And I think we've done a good job of answering potential students questions, but I think that that's important too, and I think that can give you an idea of how passionate the course creators feel about what they're putting together. And that passion, I think really does lead to a quality product. And then it also gives you like an idea of that support that you're going to receive after the fact too. So,
Yeah, and I think if you think about why someone would buy a course, we're kind of in it, and so we talk about courses all the time. But the average person isn't going out and buying an online course very often. So when
mhm,
they're getting ready to hit the buy button, there's something about the promise of the course and what they want to see happen in their life that are aligning at the right time. And so again, I'll come back to the fact that you do want to see if you can trust the brand. You want to see if it's going to accomplish the objectives you have for your life. But that's a real like big ask and a big it's a lot of trust someone's putting in you. because they're spending not only dollars, they're going to put their time into it and they're going to put their hopes into it.
It's sometimes it's like the financial commitment. It's really interesting just doing this for years. Like sometimes people buy courses and they just buy them and they're like, I'll get to it when I get to it because the money's not a big deal to them. But some people, like, we've had students who are like, it's a big deal to them. It's a big, like, even a few $100s, like really, like there's pain attached to that. And I think, I think you have to be like a good steward of that. Like you have to understand, like people are really making, a big investment in you, even if it's, a few $100s or whatever. But, the other thing I've kind of noticed about that is those people where there is some kind of pain attached to it, where it's like, it's a stretch for them. Like they tend to work harder and move a little bit faster through the program. So I think you do have to be a good steward of that trust and that commitment of time to, going through your product.
Yeah,
for sure.
I was just going to finish it by, again, kind of making nasty comments about the article writer that you can be 17-year-old. You can spin up
like a nice guy,
spin up a course, between 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. in the morning, and then, start selling it to people. There's actually something unethical about that. Like it's truly, it's the definition of putting sawdust in an engine of a car to make it stop making noise. Like it's actually kind of unethical.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay. Well,
there you go.
Good.
Ariel.
Cool. We're in agreement.
I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
I know. Me too.
Well, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to emos too, though. It's equal emos and seeing you. It's like, I'm really, you know what I mean? And it's both equal high.
One of us may disappoint.
He's 50%. We know which one. Pizza's going to be great.
I know, exactly.
I'm excited about it.
He's 50% excited to see you, 50% excited for emos, and we're going to eat emos with you, so he'll be fully 100% excited.
I'll be fully, I will be 100% fulfilled.
His cup will be full.
Good. I am very excited to be there to see your reaction. So, like, don't get a piece out of the pizza.
That makes me feel like it's going to suck.
No, you might like it, and I would like to be there if you like it. You know,
it's because people think it's so much thinner than what they think it's going to be, right? Is that, or is it the taste of the fake cheese?
I'm excited for the crust. A smoky fake cheese. I'm not sure I'm going to like that, but
What's it called again?
Love a thin crust.
Provel.
Okay.
What kind of toppings are you going to get on the pizza?
Oh, what do you suggest?
What do you recommend?
Yeah. What do you recommend?
I wouldn't like put too many toppings because it's a thin crust pizza. It's not going to support a lot of weight, you know?
They don't put thin toppings.
I mean, do we need anything? Can we just do?
You can just do cheese or
sauce?
cheese and pepperoni or sausage, mushrooms.
Pepperoni. I hate pepperoni on a pizza.
What?
Really?
That is like a very common thing to put
That's
on
offensive.
Pizza. Yeah, it's like my favorite pizza, but it's all right. We'll do cheese.
Pepperoni and mushrooms, I think, is my favorite, but.
Can we do like a half and half? Because I kind of want to get a little bit of, or get one of each or something. Because I kind of want
to. Oh, sausage and mushrooms.
That's fine. We can get. Hey, you know what? We're doing all right. We can even get 2 pizzas.
That's what I was going to say. Let's get.
They cost $9 a
but
piece.
There was something else we need to order too, right, Ariel?
Toasted ravioli. Well, thank you for listening to this podcast. If you made it this far, you must be planning a trip to St. Louis as well.
Cheers to you.
We will be back next week. And if you got any questions, let us know. There's a number in the comments. And if we low key sold our courses. If you're interested in learning a side hustle, a freelance gig, making more money, doing something new with your life, email us, let us know. We'll tell you what we got. But hope you have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.